Welcome to Market Recap Live. I am your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Thursday, guys, and I'm happy about it. We got one more day in the market, okay? One more day. We got Friday, and then I'm going to do some Q&As over the weekend. I'm going to see how we can work this out because I got family coming in town. It's going to be a little crazy, but my plan is to do a few live streams with Q&As and see what we can determine preparing for next week and reflecting on what happened in the market this week, okay? So tonight we are taking a look at ticker RUM. You might know them better as Rumble. Rumble Incorporated was founded in 2013 by Chris Pavlovsky. You know what? I practiced this name so many times, and even still, I think I got it wrong. I'm gonna try this one more time. Chris Pavlovsky. There we go. With the first office opening in Toronto, Canada. Now they are publicly traded on the NASDAQ and have a market value over $1.5 billion. Rumble is in the interactive media and services industry in the communication services sector, and they are not listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Rumble's competitors are Alphabet, ticker GOOGL, Meta Platforms, ticker META, and Snap, ticker SNAP. We're going to review Rumble's earnings, their website, and visit the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put an FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Now, the last few nights, my throat been a little dry, so I got my tea tonight. But we got started kind of at the last minute, so I ain't get time to really get a little taste. So now I think I should be ready to go. So let's get to these earnings. All right. Here we go. Rumble, ticker symbol RUM, the $1.76 billion company reported its first quarter 2026 earnings on Thursday, May 14th. They have a 52-week high of $10.99, which took place on July 21st, and a 52-week low of $4.62 that occurred on March 30th, which is a trading range of $6.37. And they closed today at $8.17. Rumble earnings report missed on the top line, reporting revenue of $25.5 million, which was lower than the market expectations of $30.4 million, and missed on the bottom line as non-cash items and acquisition-related costs weighed on margins. EPS was lower than the analysts and market expectations of -6. Woo, wait a minute. We was on a roll. EPS was lower than the analysts and market expectations of -6 cents when they reported a GAAP EPS of -12 cents. Rumble reported a GAAP net loss of $30.3 million, which is higher than the $2.7 million net loss they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 1,022.2%. So for the first fiscal quarter of 2025, their net loss was approximately 91.1% higher than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released after the market closed, followed by a 5 p.m. Eastern time conference call. As far as guidance, management highlighted strong sequential monthly active user growth driven by Rumble shorts. That 52-week low compared to today's closing of $8.17 represents an increase of 76.8% over a span of approximately 1.5 months. So if someone invested $1,000 in March at that 52-week low of $4.62, they would be seeing a gain of $768.40. Guys, we did that. So let's move on. Let's go here. Now, let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? And what makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? To find those answers, we browse 4 key areas: the homepage for the goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for the SEC filings and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go back to Rumble's website. Let's check them out. Wait a minute, I was about to push the button too soon. We all right though. Here we are. Bam. We got the ticker up. Nope. So here we go. Here's the ticker for Rumble, and here's the disclaimer I want to use. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button. I definitely would appreciate it. Zoom in. Make sure we at 150. All right. So we are on Rumble's website, and this company, as far as their website, it reminds me of YouTube. It has a layout like YouTube, same kind of long format, shorts, etc., etc. And we know that YouTube is owned by Google. I think that this company does some other things besides this, like cloud data center type things, but we're going to look at all that. So we're going to browse over the homepage, and we're going to look for the About Us, Careers, and Investors Relations. So let me check this right quick. Nope. All right, so we're going to scroll over the homepage and look down at the bottom because I don't see what we need at the top. And their theme is like this lime green, guys. It's like a lime green. So YouTube is red, and theirs is like this lime green theme. It's a long scroll. You know how they do with these videos. All right, so we're down at the bottom. Now, I need to take me off the screen so you can see this. Now, down here in the corner, we're going to go to About Us and Careers. I already looked at this earlier. So About Us is going to have then other stuff that we need, like investor relations, and it's going to open up in a separate web page. So let me bring that over so you can see it. Here we go. Let me fix this stuff. 1, 2, put me back on the screen, because I'm not blocking anything anymore, and zoom this in just in case. All right, so we have our story right here, our brands and careers and investors. So now we can just use this. We're off the noisy site. Scroll down to the bottom. Here are their socials. And yeah, so Rumble, the freedom first technology platform where authentic expression thrives. Links for these websites are down in the description for your convenience. So let's go over to our story, which is going to go from left to right. Our story, why we exist. We are on a mission to protect a free and open internet. And I'm thinking what they're saying from about that, or their purpose or their vision, is to avoid censorship, because that was some political issue type stuff that was going on. They felt like it was an attack on free speech and things like that. We're not going to get into politics, but I just wanted to mention it. That's what I believe they're talking about with this, to make sure that freedom of speech is exercised. Okay, let's move on to our brands. Let's see if there's some stuff we don't know about. Creators and consumers. Rumble, looking to grow your audience, looking to experience truly authentic creators. Unlock the ultimate experience with Rumble Premium. Okay, businesses, Rumble Cloud. See, this is what I was talking about. So introducing Rumble Cloud. When I was talking about the data and cloud type stuff, I don't know if I actually said, I know I said data and something else. So designed to empower developers. Why am I saying these words? Designed to empower developers, small businesses, and enterprise clients. Rumble Cloud provides a safe and independent environment to host your content without fear of censorship or suppression. See, I said that. Censorship. All right, so that's Rumble Cloud. Rumble Advertising Center. Maximize your reach with Rumble Advertising Center. Unlock the full potential of your brand with Rumble Advertising Center, the ultimate platform for advertisers seeking high quality traffic and engaged audiences. So it seems like these are 3 different divisions or subsidiaries. I think that's another word they use for the services that they offer to the market. So content creators can upload their videos in long format or shorts, or clips is the more broad term, because some socials say reels, others say shorts and things like that. So they have this cloud service and this advertising service. So those are a few different things that they offer within their goods and services. So we can see that under the brands. Let's go over to careers and see what we can find as far as the benefits. Browsing over this careers. At Rumble, we are building a freedom-first platform that goes far beyond video, from advertising and cloud to our video platform and wallet. So they might be getting into the finance, or they are in the finance space as well, with a wallet, financial services, it seems like. We're creating infrastructure that puts control back in the hands of creators, businesses, and users. Okay. Who we are. We're a team of people who like to think deeply, question everything, and move quickly. A freedom-first video platform that empowers creators. How we work. Okay, so you can browse over this. Here are the benefits and flexibility. So it seems like it's kind of generic, but we'll read a few of them. Medical, dental, and vision coverage. Employee stock purchase plan, because they are publicly traded, which is cool. Long-term incentive, paid time off. Yeah, so it's kind of vague, but they give the benefits of what they do for their employees. Remember, the links are in the description for your convenience. Let's go over here to investors. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button. I definitely would appreciate it, and consider subscribing. So let's zoom in here. We're at the 150. All right, so we can see the stock price here. They trade on the NASDAQ, which we talked about earlier. And I'm just going to scroll over this page to see what else is on here. So you can get email alerts, press releases. Okay, so right here where it says stock, there we are. We're going to click on stock quote. Load up, load up, load up. There we go. So here's the stock quote information. Here are the, ooh, these some, I got to be honest, these some horrible charts compared to what we see on some of these websites. At least it loaded up, because some websites we go to, the charts don't even load up. We can't even find them, and they don't load up sometimes. So I give them that. The color scheme, horrible, hard on the eyes, in my opinion. And I don't like the way that's laid out. But anyway, we see it. We know where it is. All right. So we can move on. We can move on. So let's go here. Think or swim. No, we going here. We're going here, because I got to tell you this. All right. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders lose critical detail and advanced platform features on a mobile screen. So keep in mind, trading from a phone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To see every detail, use a full trading platform and watch these streams on a computer or TV. Only use a phone as a last resort. Now, let's look at the charts for ticker RUM Rumble. All right, so here we go. I already have them pulled up. We got them on the screen. Yup, let's put the right disclaimer up here. The think or swim one. Here we go. All right, so I have the 1 year daily chart pulled up. 1 year daily chart right here. We can see that, and we can see the 52-week high of the $10.99 and the 52-week low of $4.62. It looks like this company does not pay dividends, which isn't strange since they're young, they're in the growth phase of their business. So let's go look at the 10-year weekly chart, which is not going to go back 10 years because like I just said, they're young. So this goes back to 2022. If I'm not mistaken, when I started the live stream, it said that they were founded in 2013. Let me see. I can get that information right here. Yeah, they were started in 2013, but it looks like they began being publicly traded in 2022. It looks like. Don't quote me on it, but it looks like. All right. So if we are looking at this short history of technicals, let me take me off the screen. This area right here looks like it was consolidation right here. And then after consolidation, we know that the stock is either going to go up or it's going to go down. It looked like it went down, and then it had this pattern right here after it created this low. So this is since this was one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a 5-year low of $3.33 and a 5-year high of $17.04. Okay. Let me bring this tool over and erase this one. So after the consolidation and the slight pullback, it went up. Then it looks like it started consolidating again. Okay. That's what I'm seeing here. So after consolidation, it's going to either go up or it's going to go down. And boy, oh boy, did it go up. Okay. And then it had this high. So let's go here. And the price action is down here, guys. Okay. So this is where we are now. And this is a weekly chart. So we know this is a 5-year high. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. And we're going to look for support and resistance levels that are close to this area right here. Okay. So I'm seeing that this right here. So let me get the tool I need. I'm gonna get the rectangle. I'm going to snap to that and I'm going to bring it over. I want to say, I'm just going to go here, there. Okay. But I'm going to extend it. So let me put me back on the screen. I'm going to extend that. So we're going to go to edit properties and we're going to, let's hide this stuff for now. We don't need that right now. Then we're going to use this calendar. We're going to take this back. So 2022, December 1st. Yeah. So it's going to extend it to the left and we can see, I'm going to do that in a second. Let me extend it over to the right. So go back to edit properties. We're going to use this calendar and move it over. So 2026, October 1st, there we go. All right. So that's going to be my resistance zone. That's right near where the price is now. And this hasn't even been 200 weeks yet because I don't even see the 200 simple moving average appear on this chart yet. But this is the 9-day. This is the 9-week. I'm sorry. This is the 9-week simple moving average. The 200-week simple moving average has not appeared yet because it hasn't been 200 weeks yet. And we can actually find out how many weeks it's been to verify what I'm saying. This is the current week. This is the first week that we're seeing. So when I connect those, that box will tell us how many weeks it was. And it's saying days, but it's so yeah, days. So it's not saying it in weeks. So what we're going to do, why is it saying days? I didn't know it did this on a weekly chart, guys. So honestly, I don't even know how to do the math for this. Let's try to figure it out. Let me think. Because I want to figure if it's doing it in days. The reason why I'm confused is because I know 7 days are in a week, but the market is only open 5 days in a week. So I don't know if I should divide it by 5 or if I should divide it by 7. I'm just going to do it by 5 and see what happens. So we're going to mouse over it, 1330. Because that's how many days that would show up on the chart. I'm just going to base it off how many days that would show up on the chart. The chart doesn't show 7 days in a week. It shows 5. So we're going to just divide this by 5 and we'll see how many weeks. So if it's saying 260, no, I remember we have to use 7 because it counts the days even when the market isn't open. So you can get the time frame of how long something took. I remember now. So we divide this by 7. See how that's less than 200? So there we go. That's why the 200 week simple moving average is not showing. Okay. So we got that. And now I need to look for, don't need to, but I'm going to look for support. I'm going to say this is support right here. Yeah, I'm going to say this is support. And this is going to be a deep support zone. It's going to be kind of deep. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say this is my support zone. Okay. And I'm going to extend it over to the right. So let's use this. 2026, December 1st. Bam, bam. There we go. Did we do October 1st on this one? Yeah, we did. Let's just go ahead. There, look, I'm a Libra, so this throwing me off. We're going to go to December 1st. That way it match. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing as my support and resistance based off of where the price action is now. We're going to keep it real simple. So we can go ahead and remove this drawing, and we're going to go back to the 1 year daily chart. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button. I definitely would appreciate it, and consider subscribing. So we are on the 1 year daily chart. And now you can see, because we're on a daily chart, this dashed white line is a 200-day simple moving average. So we know we have more than enough days for that to appear on the chart. So that's what that is. And if you want to see where that is, I'm going to show you. We put that back on the screen right up here. This area right here talks about what the simple moving averages represent. So the dashed green, that lime green dash line, that's a 9-day simple moving average, and it's based off the close. And then the simple moving average 200-day is based off the close, and it's the white one. It's color coded. So now you know where to look for that on the charts, okay? And we are using the Thinkorswim platform. So we can delete all of these because it doesn't match anymore, because now we're on the 1 year daily chart. And we can see the consolidation I was talking about in a couple of places. And let's use this. Let's use this. Go here, delete that, cut this back on, go here, support. So we can see this 52-week low of $4.62. If we were to draw this as like a zone, we could see, let me connect that bottom, that these wicks kind of came down to that same zone. And if we extend it to the right, which one are we using? Is it the, no, it's the rectangle. Extended this to December 1st. All right, bam. Okay, now we extended it. That's the support that it found down here around that 52-week low. And then it started trading right here above the 9-day simple moving average. And it's pretty much been trending, uptrending ever since. It crossed over the 200-day simple moving average. And that is my support and resistance that I'm seeing in the technicals. It's trading above the 9-day simple moving average. So I would see that as the closest support. And if we use this, this would be an area. Let me use this other one so I can show you. This area here tested that price level. This area here, this area here, and this area here tested that price level a few times. So I'm seeing that as support and resistance as well. So since the price action is right here, it's going to count as support because the price is above it. So if it breaks below that, it's going to break two supports, the 9-day simple moving average and that 789. And then I would see the 200-day simple moving average as the next area of support, and then this support zone and that support zone. So this is the closest that I see as far as resistance. Okay. So now we saw that, we broke that down. Now let's talk about the stock quote. Let's get the stock quote for it. We broke down the technical so we can move on. So we're going to go to settings. Let me delete this, cut that back on, go to settings, and I'm going to cut on my floating data box. And we're going to talk about the stock quote for Rumble. So I'm going to mouse over it. Here we go. So Rumble open today. What about the 50-day simple moving average? I just looked up. Thank you for your comment. I'm going to get with you in 1 second. So Rumble opened today at $8.10. They had a high of $8.52. They had a low of $7.57, and they closed today at $8.17, which was a trading range of 95 cents. Okay, I want to address this comment right now. It depends on the individual. You're free to use whatever time frame as far as simple moving averages as you want. From my experience, it seems like the price respects the 9 and the 200 more than the other simple averages that I've seen people use, like the 20 simple moving average, the 50 simple moving average, the 100 simple moving average. I mean, how many different indicators do you need? And 20 is closer to 50 when you're looking at the space between them. Like, I like a significant difference when I'm looking at simple moving averages. Like 9 is significantly different than a 200. But if you're using a 20 or 30 or 50, they're not really that far off from one another. I mean, so it's, from my personal experience, when I looked at those different indicators, like if we were to switch this, we could see that this price action won't respect the 50 as much as it does the 9 and well, the 200 is a longer time frame, so we wouldn't expect it to be like that. But if we changed it, so let me go to, so we have a 9 right here, go to settings, length, we'll change it to a 50. And then technicals is in the eye of the person reading the charts anyway. So if the 50 works for you, then it works for you. It just slows down the reaction of the indicator. So if we looked at the 50, the immediate difference that I see from using the 50 is that the 50 hasn't even crossed over the 200 yet. So that's late. That's a late indicator. If you were to use the crossover as a entry point, it hasn't even crossed yet. The price is already up there. But if I put it back where I had it, if I put it on the 9, which one? I changed it. That's the 200, that's the 50. So I changed it to a 50. Now, if I put this back to 9, now you're going to see a crossover. So if you see the crossover here, someone could have made an entry here on a 200-day simple moving average and participated in the move up. But if they were using the 50, it didn't even cross over yet. So I hope that answered your question. I hope that answered it. So let's talk about the volume. So when we go to the volume, let me put the stock back on the screen. So we talk about the loser. No, we on the earnings. Bam. All right, we'll put Rumble back. So let's talk about the volume. Now, the traded volume for today was 4.8 million shares of this stock was traded today. Now let's look at the volume labels. Let's take the floating data box off because it drives me crazy when we don't need it, and take me off the screen. So we see the average trading volume for this stock was 2.7 million shares in a daily session. So today was above average at 4.8 million. And then on Wednesday, it was 3.3 million. So even with earnings, guys, it didn't really get a lot of volume today. Was this announced after market? Let me double check that. Yeah, it was announced after market. So if it's going to, the volume is going to react tomorrow. The volume should be coming in tomorrow on Friday because the earnings announcement was after market. And if we look up here at the bid and ask, we can already see that the price is dropping when we look at the bid and ask for the after hours trading, okay? And another way for us to see that, I'm glad that I pulled this up. Let's finish the volume, put me back on the screen, finish the volume rank percentile, and then I'll show you what I mean by that, okay? Put me back on the screen. Put me back on the screen. Here we go. All right. Now, let's finish this up, and then I'll show you how to look at the price move that happened after the earnings were announced after hours, okay? So the volume rank percentile was 92.9%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 18 days had higher volume than today, only 18 days. Now, the 92.9% means that out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was higher than 92.9% of those days. All right. Now, I want to show you how the price reacted after hours, because that's when they actually announced the earnings, right? So we're looking at the daily chart, so it doesn't show the extended hours. So we're going to go over to a minute chart, an intraday minute chart to be specific. So this was the end of the trading session around 4 p.m. This is the after hours trading on a minute chart, this gray area. So if I were to go to the settings, go to equities, and uncheck the show extended hours trading session and click apply, we wouldn't be able to see it. It cuts off at 4 p.m. But when we cut that back on, go to settings, go to equities, check show extended hours trading session, apply, we can see how the market the market reacted to the earnings announcement. So they had a low of $7.12, even though they closed today at $8.17. And we can see that the candles are also responding to that price level, reacting to that price level of $7.89 as resistance. We can see it right here. It's been bouncing off of it. I haven't been able to get across it except right here, I think. Okay, let me get some of my tea. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the explanation. I see your comment. You know what? Thank you for the comments. And I apologize. It seemed like I'm taking a while to see this. I have this thing set up where it's supposed to chime because I got multiple monitors and sometimes it's hard for me to get to the chats in time. But thank you so much for the question. When I see them, I'm definitely going to respond. I ain't going to ignore you. So just give me some time and thank you for tuning in. All right, so let's go over to, we covered everything because I wanted to make sure I explain what happened after the hours of market. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go back to the main. Let's go here. We got that done. All right. So prompter. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description, as well as the ticker on the screen. Okay, so now let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company in the S&P 500 index. Okay, so let's look at that. Go back to here. Got the chart pulled up. Now we about to pull up the SPY. Okay, SPY. Got them on the screen. Yep. All right. So right over here in the symbol box, we're going to type in SPY, and here we go. Guys, they hit another 52-week high. This thing just keep climbing. And I set an alert right here to let me know if it ever was to drop below $743.91, and it didn't. Because the alert's still sitting there. It didn't fall below it. So it's really no reason to go look at the 10-year weekly chart, because these are historical highs. There's nothing back there. We're not missing anything, but this is what we like to do. This support right here is support right here. That's $738.20. This was our previous resistance level. There's level 14 at $743.91, because that was the previous 52-week high. So now we're going to remove this and we're going to put a new level here for resistance at $749.53. Okay. And this yellow zone right here, just in case it's your first time tuning in, when you see yellow on our charts, that indicates a gap. That was a gap. So it gapped up from this green candle to that green candle. So that was May 5th to May 6th. And it's trending above the 9-day simple moving average and the 200-day simple moving average, which is so far above the 200-day simple moving average, we can't even see it with us zoomed in. So let me zoom out so you can see what I'm saying. Here's the 200-day simple moving average. It's all the way down here. So to just focus on where we are now and to stretch this out a little bit, this is where we are. Okay. I know that's a little while. I'm getting it adjusted because we are about to do the ETF quote, because there's not much to go over. It's still just making record highs. It's going up, up, up. So it looked like it's trying to break that $750. And it fell just shy by 47 cents. Okay. So let's get the quote for this ETF, and then we can talk about the volume. So the SPY open today at $743.65. They have a high of $749.53, which is also a 52-week high and an all-time high, and a low of $743.56. And they closed today at $748.17, which was a trading range of $5.97. Now, when we look at the trading volume, guys, it's still trading below average as far as volume in a daily session. Today, they traded 45 million shares of this ETF. Now, when I take me off the screen and we look at the volume label for the average volume, what I'm seeing over here is the average volume for the ETF, the SPY ETF specifically, is 75 million shares traded in a daily session. So today, below average. Now, it's higher than yesterday. On Wednesday, it was 44. So just a million more. So we're seeing a slight increase in the volume, but it's still trading below average. Okay. Now put me back on the screen and we're going to talk about the volume rank percentile. So right here, out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 16 days had a lower volume than today. So that's what this DB means, days below and days above. And then the volume rank percentile, out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was higher, it was only higher than 6.3% of those 252 trading days. It was only higher than 6.3% of those 252 trading days. I said it, I got it. All right, we good. So we can move on. No questions, right? All right. So let's go here. We moving smooth tonight. Let's go. All right. So now let's look at today's winners and losers in the S&P 500 index. And first, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. All right. Now let's go back to the charts. Bam. And we're going to go over here to the symbol. No, not the symbol box. Go to Market Watch. We're going to go to the Market Watch tab. And we're on the quote sub tab, and I already have the S&P 500 index watch list pulled up. And here is the loser for today. So the biggest loser is ticker. That was not supposed to pop up. BIIB, Biogen Incorporated, is the biggest loser for today. And they lost 6.43%. They had a previous close of $204.53. And they closed today at $191.37. So let's do a hypothetical. If someone had invested $500 at that previous close and had that loss of 6.43%. We're going to negate it first and then hit the percentage. They would have lost $32.15 of their $500 investment. So we're going to add the $500 principal back to it, and they will be left with $467.85. If I move too fast, rewind that, plug in your own numbers, and you can see how to do that quick little formula yourself. All right, since we have this selected, we can go ahead and move on to the Analyze tab, and we can get a deeper dive into this company. So we see right here that ticker BIIB, Biogen Incorporated, is in the healthcare sector. Now, what I like to do, I like to go over to the Market Watch tab, then go to Visualize and check the heat map. I got a lot going on. Give me a second. Check the heat map to see how the other companies in that sector and in that industry and in that sub industry performed compared to that company. Okay, so we're going to go in the S&P 500 watch list based on this heat map for the whole S&P 500 index. We're going to go down to healthcare. So now we've narrowed it down, and we're looking for a bright red. So if it jumped out at you, it's right here. Bam, BIIB, it's right here. This is in the biotechnology industry. So we're in the healthcare sector. We drop that down, biotechnology industry, select that. It's going to zoom in. So we can see The industry as a whole had a tough day. ABBV was the only company in that industry that did well today. And we did that by doing our due diligence, just by looking at the heat map, going into the sector, going into the industry. And if we want to get even more specific, we can break this down and go into the sub industry, but the sub industry is the same thing, biotechnology. We can see that right over here to the right, okay? So now let's go back to analyze, take me off the screen. We're gonna read the company profile, guys. So here we go. Company profile, Biogen Incorporated. Here's the website. Link to the website is down in the description for your convenience if you want to read over it and visit it yourself and all that other good stuff. We're about to do this together as well. I'm going to read a little bit about this description and then we're going to visit the website. Biogen Incorporated discovers, develops, manufactures, and delivers therapies in the United States, Europe, Germany, Asia, and internationally. All right. So let's go to their website. Bam. Put me back on the screen. Here we go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit that like button. Definitely would appreciate it, and consider subscribing to the channel. So we're going to browse over this website to see what we can find out about this company. Just use our eyes. Just investigate. Click around. So we're going to look definitely at the investors, careers, and companies. So it's right here at the top. We're going to browse over this homepage. This is called qualitative analysis, if you've never heard about it before. We're looking for stuff that we can find by seeing what type of quality the company offers in different things, okay? So science and innovation, driving an innovative pipeline. We're using cutting edge science to develop potential breakthrough therapies in neurology, immunology, and rare diseases, okay? And remember, the links for this website is down in the description if you see something that interests you and you want to browse at it on your own time. And I did some research, which I'm going to share with you after we browse over the website really quickly. Okay. So we're at the bottom. We can go back to the top because I already seen what we need to look at. So we're going to go right here to company, and there is the mission and culture right there. Bam. So let's go there and read that. See what that do. Mission and culture. The Biogen way describes the mission and behaviors that provide the foundation for Biogen's next era. It is rooted in the company's birth in 1978 with a group of accomplished scientists and a few venture capitalists formed a new company with an emphasis on breakthroughs in biology. So they talk about their mission, their culture, and we see them working. So yeah, careers about Biogen. Okay, let's just jump over to careers because I think we're at the bottom. And what I'm looking for when we go to careers, I'm looking for the benefits. Where is the benefits at? So I see jobs, search jobs. We might have to go. You're leaving Biogen website. So they're making me open up a whole different web page. So give me a second. I'm going to bring this over so you can see it. And I hope they don't do this for each thing we're clicking on. I really hope they don't. But let me bring this over so you can see it. Here we go. We're going to blow this up. Bam. We're going to zoom in 150. There we go. So these are different job locations. Remember, I'm looking for the benefits. So I'm gonna go back here to careers. All right. So I'm seeing disease areas, blah, blah, blah. Browsing over, see what we can find. Company, mission, culture, board of directors, no. Careers, how we hire. So no. Browse down. Benefits. Come on now. Benefits. Welcome perspectives. They got a video you can watch. I'm going to go to how we hire because I don't want to spend too much time on this. Is this it? Work-life balance. This looks like the benefits, even though they don't say that. The work-life balance. This is the section right here. It's very vague. I don't think you can click on this either. But this seems like it's, there you go. Biogen benefits. Bam. You couldn't see it, but here it is. Benefits. Here's another video. Rewards of Biogen. So we found out where it was, okay? And they talk about it. Financial well-being, emotional well-being. All right, so we know where to find that. Now, we can go to investors. I want to go ahead and wrap this up so we can get to the charts, and I can tell you the research that I found. Investor relations. Let's see if we're still zoomed in. Nope. They zoomed us out again. All right. And put this back. All right. So we're going to scroll down. See what's on this page. See some stock information. We see a chart that they offer. Okay, let's go back to the top. Stock information, stock quote and chart. I'm going to go here. Bam. All right. So here's the stock quote. Is the chart loading? See, we talked about this earlier. I told you some of these charts don't even load up. So we don't see it. But here are some other tools that they have, and we can move on. We're going to keep it moving. We've been spending a lot of time on some of this stuff. We're going to make sure we keep this moving. So let's get out of here, go to the charts. But I want to talk to you about what I found in the research about this company, just in case you didn't get what they do or you want some more details about it. Here's the thing. Biogen, ticker BIIB. When it comes to their goods and services, they develop, manufacture, and commercialize targeted biotechnology therapies for major conditions such as multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's disease, spinal muscular atrophy, and postpartum depression. And looking at their S&P 500 customers and partners, notable names include CVS Health, ticker CVS, United Health Group, ticker UNH, and Cigna. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'll spell it CIGNA, ticker CI. So those are their customers and partners that are also listed in the S&P 500 index. Okay, so that's what I found in my research. Do your own due diligence, but that's what I got. All right, so let's go back to the charts. Bam, we got Thinkorswim up, and we are looking at the 1 year daily chart. We've never covered this company on the live stream before, so I'm going to go to the 10-year weekly chart to see what levels I can find. And we've talked about, let me take me off the screen because this is blocking something I want to bring up. This is a beautiful example of consolidation, this area right here. And we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks now. So after a consolidation phase, it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. And we can clearly see that after this consolidation, stock went up. Okay. So we're going to delete this part or erase that because we see which way that went after consolidation. And it kind of did it again here and here. So let me show you what that looks like. Consolidation, consolidation. Both times it went up. This really went up. That was crazy. Then it came down, consolidation again. This consolidation actually went down before it went up. Okay. So consolidation is when the stock price seems to be trending sideways. It's not really going up. I'm putting me back on the screen. Give me a second. Give me a second. There we go. All right. The stock isn't necessarily trending up or down. It's trending sideways. Sideways is a trend. Consolidation. They have different names for it. If the stock goes up after consolidation, it was accumulation. If it goes down after consolidation, it was distribution. That's the idea. So right here, after this consolidation phase, it went up. So that was accumulation. And then it's been trending down from mid 2023 down to 2025. Now in 2025, you see a 10-year low of $110.04, a 10-year high of $468.55. Okay. Now I'm going to delete all of that. We don't need to see it. You just need to get an idea of what I was saying. All right. So that's gone. And now we're going to look at this uptrend right here. Okay. Wait a minute. Get this off the screen. Got some things going on. Give me a second. All right. Sometimes it's a lag, but this is an uptrend from down here from this low. So I'm going to use a trend tool, and we are looking at the 10-year weekly chart so we can see what type of percentage gain this was from this low to this highest point. Now, this is this week, this red candle right here, and it's kind of small. So let me zoom in on this area. Delete this. Go here. Come on. Zoom in on this area. All right, and we can take me off the screen so you can see this better. I'm going to use the trend tool. This right here, trend line. Connect this low and go to this high. And then when I mouse over, it's going to tell us how many days it took. Now, that was an opportunity for an 87.19% gain, guys. That's what we're looking at there. So it was a matter of 399 days. We can get all that information right there in that box. And that was the trend tool. And then you can do the same thing with the other tools, go to edit properties and make adjustments if you want to, change the color and all that other good stuff. So that's how we do that. So as far as looking for the levels on the weekly chart, let me zoom out. Zoom out, and I'm seeing that this area right here is resistance, and we can see that it was tested here, support and resistance, not just resistance. Yep. So these were the few times that it was tested. And then here it was even tested, but it broke below it and then it became resistance. So when the price was above it, it was support. And then when it broke below it, it became resistance. And then it came back towards it and it's fighting with it right now. It's flip-flopping over the top and over the bottom of it in this area. And I'm gonna zoom in so we can see this again. Wait a minute. Here we go. Zoom in. Zoom in. So this is where we are now. So it got above it, fell back below it. It was fighting with it. You see how these wicks touched it, but it wasn't able to get above it until it closed above it right here on this candle. And then even today, it tried to come up and it failed, hitting this 200-week simple moving average because we are on a weekly chart, and it closed below that 192.75. So it's fighting with that level right there, guys. And this is on the weekly chart. So with the price action being right here, I'm going to say, wait a minute, let me use this other mouse because this mouse acting crazy. Let's go over here. I'm going to say this area right here is going to be a support and resistance zone. So I'm going to use this tool here and go here with it. Bam. Now I'm going to go to edit properties, put me back on the screen. There we go. And I'm going to extend this over to December 1st of 2026. There we go. All right. So that's what I'm seeing as support. And this is what I'm seeing as resistance. The 200-week simple moving average. Now, if we zoomed out, see if we can find this price action right here. Okay. So this price action right here seemed like it was having a hard time getting above that. Okay. And the price is right below that right now. This area, you see these few candles weren't able to get above that price point of $207.59. And when we look at the price action now, it's below that $207.59. All right. So now we're going to go over to the 1-year daily chart. Now, when we go there, we already have our technicals drawn because we use the weeks. We use the 10-year weekly candles to be able to do that. And we can see that today's candle, this candle right here, closed below the 9-day simple moving average and that $192.75 price level. Okay. So now the most recent area of support, looking at the daily chart, I'm seeing this. Now, these 4 daily candles tested that price level. Use this tool to show you. This wick, this wick, this wick, that wick, and that wick. Okay. That's where I'm getting that from. That was a pullback and then it recovered from there. So that was my lowest point that I'm seeing. So it trended down, found support on that 171.22, and then it went up. So I'm seeing that price level as support. It already closed below this support level and the 9-day simple moving average. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing. Now, let's go ahead and get our stock quote for the loser so we can move on. So let's go over here to settings. Walk you through this. Matter of fact, put this back on before I make a mistake. There we go. Go to settings, cut the floating data box back on, click apply, and here we go. So Biogen opened today at $200.25. They had a high of $205. They had a low of $189.49. They closed today at $191.37, which was a trading range of $15.51. Now, when we look at the trading volume, they traded 2.8 million shares of this stock today. It's right down here. All right, now let me take me off the screen and we're going to look at what the average volume is for Biogen. I cut the floating data box off. So the average trading volume for Biogen is about 1.5 million shares in a daily trading session. And here's the label for today, 2.8 million. And then when we look at what it traded on Wednesday, which was yesterday, was 1.2 million shares were traded during the daily session. Okay, so volume is increasing. And this today was above average. So that's what we're seeing there. Now, let's look at the volume rank percentile label and break this down. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 11 days had higher volume than today. So based off that, it's not often that this stock trades above average. That's what I'm seeing. Because this is like double what it usually gets. So it's not often that it trades double of what it trades on average. That's a better way of saying it. So now when we look at the volume rank percentile, it's 95.6%, which means that today's volume was higher than 95.6% of the most recent 252 trading days. Got it. All right. So we can move on. Yes, we can. All right. So now let's go to Market Watch. Go back to the Market Watch tab. And we're going to go to quotes. We're going to flip this to the biggest winner for today. So the biggest winner for the S&P 500 is ticker CSCO, Cisco Systems Incorporated. And they went up by 13.41% today. They had a previous close of $101.87. And they closed today at $115.53. Okay. And let's do a hypothetical. Let's pull our calculator up. All right. So if someone had invested, let's say $300, they had invested $300 and they got that 13.41% gain. We multiply that 13.41% equal. That is not it. 300 times 13.41%. There we go. They would have gained $40.23, guys, moving a little too fast. And that was their ROI. We add the $300 principal back to it. So the total investment would have grown to $340.23. All right. Now that we got that done, let's go over to the Analyze tab. And here we go. So they are in the information technology sector. Let's do our thing. Let's go over to the Visualize tab. We go to Market Watch, go to Visualize, break this back down. And they were in the information technology sector. So now we're looking for a bright green for Cisco. And I see it. It's in the upper right-hand corner right here. And it looks like the information technology was doing all right. I see more green than I see red, but we're going to break it down to be specific. So we're in the information technology sector. Let's see what industry they're in. It looks like communications equipment. Yep, there we go. So now when we look at that industry, guys, it was only one company that didn't perform well, and that was Light. And if I'm not mistaken, we just covered Light yesterday or sometime this week as the biggest winner, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So they were doing well a different day of the week. They ain't do well today. That's what we're seeing now. So they are in the communications equipment, and the sub industry is the same label. So nothing's really going to change. So we saw that. Now we can go back to Analyze and we can break down the company profile. Okay. So let me take me off the screen and we can talk about that. Bam, monitor. Okay. So here's their website, Cisco.com, company name, Cisco Systems Incorporated. So read a little bit of this description. Cisco Systems Incorporated designs, develops, and sells technologies that help to power, secure, and draw insights from the internet in the Americas, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, the Asia Pacific, Japan, and China. Okay. Now let's go to their website. There we go. Put me back on the screen. And we can change this disclaimer. I believe I'm already zoomed in, so we can go ahead and move on. Now, let me browse over this main page. Products and services, support and learn why Cisco. I'm not sure about this, guys. So we're going to scroll over the main page and see what different options we have at the bottom before I tell you where we're going to go. because I don't see what we usually look for at the top of this screen, okay? All right, come build the foundation for the agentic era. Cisco Live, trusted by 99% of the Fortune 500 and over 1 million customers worldwide. Guys, that's impressive. Ooh, that's impressive. So these are some of the companies that they have as customers. And this is what we talk about from time to time. Like, who are their partners? Who are their customers? Are they also listed in the S&P 500, et cetera, et cetera? And I did some research, so we're going to break this down just in case it doesn't make sense to you off of what I found in my research after we go over this. So 39 million networking devices connected to our platform, over 1 billion clients connecting monthly, and 750 billion plus security events observed daily across networks. Crazy. The latest from Cisco. Remember, the links for this website are down in the description for your convenience as well. Now, take me off the screen and I see what we're looking for down here at the bottom. So this label is here. Let me take this off, guys. So right here, we're going to go to About Cisco. We're going to go to Careers, and we're going to go to, oh, I don't see Investors Relations. It might be in About Cisco. Okay. So let's just go ahead and go there, and maybe we'll find the investors information. Maybe. All right, let me put me back on the screen, and we're going to browse over this together. So About Cisco. Cisco delivers the critical infrastructure to help organizations thrive in the AI era. By fusing networking, security, observability, and collaboration, we power how people and technology work together. Powered by purpose. We can do good for the world and do good for business when we combine our technology, our people, and our broader networks, okay? So remember, the links for these websites are down in the description for your convenience. Legacy innovation, okay, blah, blah, blah. Investor relations, we got it, all right? So we know where to find that. Careers and employment verification, I don't know if we want to verify it, but now we know how to get to investor relations, so I'm going to leave that open. We are going to go to careers. So let me take me off the screen so you can see. I'm going to right click this and just open this up in a different window. And I'm going to bring this over so you can see it. So here are the careers. Bear with me, guys. I'm moving as fast as I can. Blow this back up. Blow this up. Zoom in. 150. There we go. Now, what I'm looking for, I want to know where the benefits are. We're looking for the benefits. Careers home, why work here, benefits and perks. Bam, we see it. But I'm going to scroll over this page just to see what we can find on this page. And then we're going to go to the benefits. So bear with me. All right. Just doing our thing. Qualitative analysis. See what we can find. Anything that stands out to us. Remember, the links are down in the description for your convenience if I'm moving too fast or if you saw something that interested you or anything like that. All right. So why work here? Benefits and perks. Let's find out what the benefits are. Benefits that do good for you and others. Put me back on the screen. So they talk about exploring roles, get the care and support you need. So here are the different benefits that they have. So we know where they are. So we can go ahead and move on. So we were talking about investor relations. They even talk about how they hire. I like when companies do that because they can prepare the candidate or the potential employee for what they're going to go through during the hiring process. I think that that's dope. Okay. So we're going to close this out and we are going to go to investor relations, which is right here. And I believe, no, it didn't take us. I'm so glad it didn't take us off this. Okay. Reject all. Let's see if they got us zoomed in where we need to be at. Go to 150. All right, we're about to go to the charts in 1 second. I'm going to tell you what I found in the research that I did too. So they trade on the NASDAQ. That's the stock price. I'm going to scroll over this page to see what we can find. And I see the stock info at the top. There's a video you can play, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so stock info, stock quote, and it looks like they do pay a dividend. So let's go to stock quote. Do you do portfolio? Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull your comment up on the screen in 1 second. I'll do it right before we go to the chart. So here's the stock quote. Here's the stock chart. Here's the historical quote. This is the other things that they offer on their website. All right. So let me get to the comment and let me get here. Let me go right here. Okay. Put this disclaimer up. We got the educational thing. Let me pull your comment up so we can address it. So comment, do you do portfolio updates or share investment ideas? Portfolio updates, I'm thinking you asking, do I share my personal performance or things that I've done? I have shared my profits and losses of what I did last month. I did that in an interview with Tiara Owens. I have a playlist for that, and it also gives you guys an idea of why I even started this YouTube channel and how and why I started investing and how I quit my job and all that other good stuff. Okay. As far as investment ideas, that's too close to financial advice. So my channel is based on educational, like we teach how to do stuff, how to do the research, how people make the decisions for themselves. I don't give stock tips. I don't say, hey, you should buy this or you should buy that, because that's financial advice. And honestly, people are not even supposed to do that if they're not licensed. So I don't even know how some people get away with it. So we focus on the work. We focus on the education. What books do you need to read? How do you actually do the research? How do you read the charts? How do you put the orders in? How do you make your own decisions with the information and the knowledge that you gain from your own education and research? Because at the end of the day, whatever you do falls on you. So that's what we do over here. So I hope I answered your question. And if I didn't, just ask it again, and I'll do my best to make sure that I answer it. I don't want you to think I'm avoiding it. I'm trying to answer it. Okay, so put this back on the screen. No. We were covering the winner. So let's go back to the winner. Let's go to the charts. So bam, the disclaimer for the Thinkorswim, that's this. And now we go here. I think that's everything. Yeah, so we back on the charts. Let's go to the charts. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I have found during my research. So let's go back here. And just in case he leaves another comment, we can address that while we're there too. So when it comes to Cisco Systems ticker, CSCO, when it comes to their goods and services, they develop, manufacture, and commercialize enterprise IT infrastructure and telecommunications equipment for major technology areas such as networking and hardware and routers, cybersecurity solutions, cloud computing, and IoT devices, and collaboration software like WebEx. And looking at their S&P 500 customers and partners, notable names include Apple, ticker AAPL, Microsoft, ticker MSFT, Alphabet, ticker GOOGL, Amazon, ticker AMZN, and JP Morgan Chase, ticker JPM, and T-Mobile, ticker TMUS. I know I named a lot of other S&P 500 companies, but you should expect that because they said they work with like 99% of Fortune 500 companies. So I just wanted to make sure I named a few of them so you get a better idea of who their customers and partners were. So let's go ahead and go to the charts. Took a minute after yelling that, didn't it? But we're looking at the 1 year daily chart for Cisco, and we can see that their 52-week low was $60.85. Do you trade options and teach about such? I got your comment. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen, and I'm going to address that as well. And their 52-week high was $119.36. Okay. So I don't want him waiting on this question. I'm gonna go ahead and ask because I appreciate him for asking and tuning in. So let me go ahead and switch to this so we can get it on me and off the charts. Do I trade options? I have traded options. I haven't been doing it recently. I've switched my strategy up for right now. As far as teaching options, options are very, very complex. They're very complex depending on what the person's objective is. And I want to teach it, but I feel like if somebody doesn't even understand the basics, like just trading shares of a stock or shares of an ETF, something basic like that, them trying to understand options is a whole, they can forget it. they can forget it, especially with all the different jargon and stuff that's going on. So I plan on starting my community and building this community, just focusing on the stock portion of investing at first and then getting into options a little later, because options can be used to hedge stock positions. Because if you have if someone has a smaller account, they don't have some of the advantages that institutions have. Like institutions, because they have more assets and larger access to capital than the average retail trader like you and I'm assuming you have, they can sell naked calls. They can actually execute option strategies that the average person doesn't have access to. And because of that, they can sell calls and they don't actually own those shares. So they could participate in a decline from selling an option call that loses value when it comes to losing time, because it has the theta time decay. And then if the volatility drops, so then you have the volatility crush. So they're selling these options around earnings. So I'm sharing some of these with you to let you know I know how options work, but I don't want to confuse people. I plan on talking about it a little later after I grow my community a little bit more, and I make sure that the people that are following and growing along with me understand the basics, like how stocks work at first, because options can be used to hedge stock positions. Since if someone owned or I owned shares of a company and I'm worried about the stock price falling, but I'm not ready to actually sell the shares, then I could sell a call. And then when the stock price falls, the value of that call will decrease and I can buy it back and lock in profit like that. But institutions can sell calls without actually owning the shares, which would be a naked call, and they can profit from declines without losing the value on the shares they own, because they didn't have to own the shares, which gives them an advantage. Okay, so I know about options, but I'm not really teaching it now. And I know that was a long-winded answer to your question, but it was an answer to your question. And I'm open for questions tonight, guys. I see people tuning in. If you got some questions, feel free to ask. I'm about to go back to the charts. All right. And thank you so much for the question. Hit that like button, guys. I definitely would appreciate it. So let me go back to the charts. Bam, bam, bam. And we're going to put the ticker of what we're covering back on the screen. There we go. So we're covering Cisco. Now, I need to go to the 10-year weekly chart so we can find some price levels. Guys, this stock is going crazy. It's just going straight up. So it hit a 10-year high. So this is a 10-year weekly chart. Let me take me off the screen. So they have a 10-year low of $26.49 and a 10-year high of $119.36. So we're going to put this as resistance. Okay. And I'm seeing that it looks like they had a little trouble with this price level right here. Let me zoom in. So if I zoom in right here, the top of this candle, that wick, and I'm going to zoom out so we can see. Let me put me back on the screen so we can see that it tested that price level a few times. Okay, it tested it here, it tested it here, and it tested it here. And then after it tested it there, that boy trended up. Okay, and this was the early 2025. These two times that it tested that $64.29. This was early 2025 or mid. This was more so mid. This was early. Okay. As far as the price being up here, because it's so high right now, guys, it's going to be hard to really draw a support and resistance lines, because historically, that's what we use in technical analysis is historic price levels. And we can see that's empty, guys. That's empty. So good luck. So we can go over here. Let's go over here to the 1-year weekly chart. 1-year daily chart. My apologies. 1-year week daily. I'm about to say it again. 1-year daily chart. Let's put this gap in here right now. So here's the gap. And remember, I told you guys earlier, we make the gaps yellow. So on these charts, we can immediately tell what they are. And I'm going to put this out to December 1st, 2026. Stretch it out to the right. So here's the gap that happened today. So it gapped up and it looks like they had earnings today. So let's double check that. They had earnings. They had earnings yesterday. So today they reacted to it. So they had earnings after the market closed on May 13th. So they reacted to it May 14th, which was today, but it's after 12 o'clock now. But on Thursday, guys. All right. So they reacted to it. And I guess they liked something because it gapped up crazy. And that's what we're seeing here. As far as support and resistance, I'm going to say that could be support. And this level right here. I'm going to say that. But that's a wide range. So this gap, the top of that window, the top of that gap can be support. And then the bottom of that gap can be support because it's such a wide gap. As far as resistance, it's going to be that 52-week high. So we're done with the technicals. That's all we got. And it's trading above the 9-day simple moving average, and it's trading above the 200-day simple moving average. That's what I'm seeing on Cisco. Okay. Now let's pull up the floating data box so we can talk about the stock quote for Cisco. So Cisco opened today at $117.55. They have a high of $119.36, and they have a low of $113.97, and a close today at $115.53, which was a trading range of $5.39. Now, when we look at the trading volume, it looks impressive. The trading volume for today was 70.9 million shares of this stock was traded today. But we need to see what the average trading volume is for Cisco on a regular daily trading session. So when we take me off the screen, matter of fact, let me take the floating data box off first. So we take off the floating data box and we take me off the screen. We go right over here. We can see that the average trading volume for Cisco is 21 million shares in a daily trading session. So 70 is about 3.5 times what they normally get on average. And the day before, the day the earnings were announced, but remember it was aftermarket, they traded 45 million shares, which was 2 times what they get on average. Okay, put me back on the screen, and now we can talk about this. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 2 days had higher volume than today, guys. And now when we look at the volume rank percentile percentage, out of the most recent 252 trading days, today's volume was higher than 99.2% of those days. So that should give you a perspective of that. And we talked about Cisco paying dividends. So let me take me off the screen so I can point this out to you. So Cisco paid 41 cents, 41 cents, 41 cents, 42 cents. So it looks like they increased the dividend by 1 cent, and they have not made the announcement for the next dividend yet. That's what I'm seeing on the charts, okay? And the EPS is increasing. So we can see that here, 99 cents, then it was $1, then it was 104, and today it was 106. So the EPS is increasing. All right. So, guys, we can go right here. We done did our thing tonight. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you for subscribing and hitting that like button. And thank you so much, Tyler, for the comments, the conversations, and all that other good stuff, man. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's talk about this. You already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I've done 2 interviews with up-and-coming content creator Tiara Owens, sharing how I got started investing in the stock market, my profits and losses, and a link to that playlist of interviews are down in the description. And make sure you guys tune in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and God bless.